Hey, this is Josiah Eck teaching you how to make your own audiobook cheaply, quickly, and pretty much for free, the same way I'm recording my voice right now. So this is a how to make your own audiobook, primarily using Audacity, but if you want to use some of the techniques with a different software, that's also possible. This how-to audio has been brought to you by www.thebelovedcommunity.org that takes Dr. King's teaching seriously when he wanted to create the better world beloved community. And by Dr. Glenn T. Martin's new book, One World Renaissance, ISBN number 978-1933-567-501. And finally, this has been brought to you by the School of the Americas Watch at SOAW.org, whom urges you to join them in one of the largest protests against the United States militarization on November 20th through 22nd in Georgia in front of Fort Benning, and whom also asks you to write your representative, urging them to co-sponsor the Stop Militarizing Law Enforcement Act. The bill has bipartisan support and was introduced in the 114th Congress as H.R. 1232. The Pentagon's 1033 program has transferred over $4.2 billion in surplus military equipment to civilian law enforcement. Too many small towns have been given tank-like MRAPs, grenade launchers, and high-caliber assault rifles. No longer restricted to SWAT, even campus police are receiving advanced equipment and weaponry. And now to the how-to video. Okay, first things first, if you don't have Audacity already downloaded on your computer, go to www.download.cnet.com. Again, type in to your internet browser www.download.cnet.com. Once you're there, you'll see a search bar. Search Audacity, Audacity. There should be versions for phones, for Windows, and for Macs. Find your version, click download, save it onto your computer, and this is your free version of Audacity, your music recording software. Once you have downloaded Audacity and have saved it to your computer, you're going to want to pick out a book that you love and you would love to hear yourself read, either on car trips or you would like others to hear you read it because it's such a great book. So, for example, the book I chose was Awaken the Genius, Mind Technology for the 21st Century by Patrick K. Porter, PhD. If Audacity is all downloaded, if it's not, pause the section because we're going to move on. You're going to want to get a microphone next. Now, personally, I went on to Amazon after working for a neighbor and earned about $45, and I bought this microphone here, which I am using, which is an Audio Technica AUDIO-TECHNICA. So yeah, this is a good microphone, but I would urge you to maybe even get a better one than this if you can. Okay, now if you have your microphone, we're going to move on to the next step, which is the microphone settings. So I'm assuming you have Audacity downloaded. Now Before you open Audacity, you're going to look at your screen, and if you have Windows like I do, you can look to the right hand side corner at the bottom, right next to where the time and the date is, um, to your speaker system. There's a little speaker that looks like it's emitting sound waves, two sound waves. If you scroll over to that, and if you right click it, you are going to have four options: open volume mixer, playback devices, recording devices, sounds, and also there's a volume control option. What you're going to want to do is click recording devices. Now, like I said, I have the Audio Technica ATR USB microphone. It's the ATR 2100 or something like that. At the time, it only cost me $40 on Amazon. I think I got free shipping with it. But the point is that you want to disable your internal microphone or whatever else it is. And then you want to click on the microphone that shows up that is your good microphone, and you're going to have four tabs, and a new window is going to pop up, and it's going to say General, Listen, Levels, Advanced. You're going to want to go over to Levels. You're going to want to make your levels, I usually do it a little less than 100, like around 88 or 89, because sometimes 100 puts out too much sensitivity. But if it's a weak microphone and you can't hear yourself that well, just put it at 100. Or if it sounds really good at 100, just put it at 100. Okay, after you check that, then you're going to go over to listen, and you're gonna make sure that listen to this device is not checked, because if it is checked, then whatever you say in the microphone is also going to come out of your speakers. There's also going to be an option that says playback through this device, and then you just put whatever you usually listen to your speakers through. If you go to advanced, next, the tab all the way to the right, you make sure allow applications to take exclusive control of this device is checked, and also check give exclusive mode applications priority. And there's also this thing that says select the sample rate and bit depth. Usually it's on 2 channel 16-bit 4:4 100 hertz CD quality. But if you have a microphone that also does 4800 hertz, which mine does either or, it does both, and it's also 16-bit 2 channel, you can actually click that and it will also work in Audacity. And that's pretty much all that you have to do for the making sure your microphone's ready to go. And each time you start recording, because you're not going to record an entire book in one day, you got to do this again. Okay, so you're done with sound. Next up, you're going to want to open Audacity. Now remember, Audacity is downloadable for free at download.cnet.com. So you're going to want to open this up after you got your microphone levels set and you make sure that they're enabled and that they're working. Okay. So if you have a good microphone, then the first thing you're going to want to do before you start recording, at the top of Audacity, at the left-hand top corner, you're going to see File, Edit, View, Transport, Tracks, Generate, Effect, Analyze, and Help. This is just your bars that you can click on to do different things. So before you start recording, you're going to want to go to Edit, then all the way down to Preferences. Okay, in the Devices section, there's going to be something called Interface, Playback, and Recording. For the tab for Interface, it's going to let you choose either MME or Windows Direct Sound. If you have your good quality microphone, use Windows Direct Sound for better quality. But you can also use MME. For playback, you're going to make sure that if you're using headphones, that you click the tab there and it will show your headphones. Or if you're just using your speakers, make sure it's on your speakers, because that's what's going to play back whatever you recorded once you're ready to listen and edit to it. And recording, you gotta make sure that it's your good microphone that is clicked. So you're gonna make sure you want to click the arrow, find your good microphone, and then click that rather than the internal microphone. And I remember before when I told you to disable the internal microphone. Okay, so once you do that, recording's also going to ask you whether you want it in stereo or mono. If you're recording an audiobook like this, mono's fine, because that just means it's in both sides of the speakers at the same time. But if you want to do stereo, like say you want the right ear louder than the left ear, and because you're going to be listening to it in headphones or something, then you can do stereo. But for recording an audiobook, mono is fine. Okay, that is all for the devices section. Now click out of the devices section and go to recording. Skip playback. Okay, in the recording section, there's going to be a spot that says overdub that you can check or not check. And then there's going to be a spot that says software playback that you can check or not check. Overdub just lets you listen to what you just recorded aloud while you're recording. So pretty much if I click back 5 seconds from now when I'm recording and started recording, I would hear what I just said 5 seconds ago, and I would be recording my voice, which wouldn't be good for recording because the sound of what I am saying would be coming through the speakers and it would be picked up in the microphone. But if I had headphones on, then it wouldn't be picked up in the microphone, but I would still hear myself. So uncheck overdub. And also there's software playthrough, just uncheck that because that makes you be able to listen to yourself while you speak. So now go over to the quality section, to the left tab, click quality, but it's going to say default sample rate. There's going to be a bunch of choices, but whatever you're using, either 44100, 44,100 hertz, or if you're using the 4800, that hertz, then you're going to make sure it aligns with it. Usually it's only 44,100 hertz, which is no problem, but if you have a better microphone, you can use 48,000 hertz, and you're going to make sure that Audacity is also using that sample rate. Next, because you have a good microphone, there's going to be real-time conversion section, and it's going to say sample rate converter. You're going to want to click that to high quality. Okay, below that there's dither. It doesn't really matter what the dither is. The only thing about the dither for both of these sections is that you're going to make sure it's consistent each time that you record. So if you start Audacity up 10 days from now to pick up where you left off, you're going to want to make sure it's on the same one. So I picked triangle. You can do that, or you can do shaped or rectangle, whatever. Under that, there's high quality conversion, and you're going to also want to mark that to high quality. And then the dither, I have them both at triangle. Okay, and that's all for the quality section. And so, you are ready to start recording. Start with the intro, Awaken the Genius, Mind Technology for the 21st Century. Patrick Kelly Porter, Ph.D. Forward by Brad Steger. This book is dedicated to every person striving to make a difference in the world. To geniuses awake and asleep, may we all share in the delight of discovery. So that's my intro. Say I wanted to stop right there and save it. So I would click the stop button, which is the orange square that's up top. And again, to start recording, you're going to press the red circle. And then you're going to go to Save Project, which is only if you're going to save it in the Audacity format. When you do Save Project, that means you can reopen it, and if you have more than one track, which you're going to have because every time you stop recording, press the stop button and start recording again from where you left off, it's going to be on a different track. But when you save project in this version, which is the format AUP, when you reopen it, it has all those tracks exactly how you left them. So one under the other. However, if you wanted to take that intro and you wanted that to be track 1, and that's going to be track 1 of your audio CD or whatever, then you're going to go down to export, and you are going to see save as, and you're going to want to save it in MP3 or WAV, usually, or any of the other ones. It's up to you. But MP3 is recognized by most MP3 players, and so is WAV. WAV takes up a little bit more space, but it's safer and better quality. But MP3 goes a lot quicker, and it's more accepted by more things. Like, say I wanted to put my audiobook on a CD and then put it in the DVD player. Maybe the DVD player wouldn't recognize the WAV format, but it would recognize the MP3 format. Anyways, so that's what you do, and you write down out the name of whatever the track is and where you're going to save it in My Music. Then you press save, and then something's going to pop up where you put in all the information with comments, artist name. You just fill that out correctly. However, you're going to probably have a lot of the same information over and over and over again. So fill out all the main information first, and then click the save button at the bottom of that, which allows you to save that information. So every time you make a new track, that stuff will come up. You press set default. So say that was track 1 intro, and then track 2, when you go to save that, the same screen is going to pop up with the artist name and everything. Instead of having to write all that stuff over again, like the comments and the track number and the album title, instead you can save a lot of information as the default and then just add information to it and then click save. So that makes it faster. Now to go to how you actually make this sound good. So it's already going to sound good as you're recording because you got the nice microphone, you got the settings and everything like that. But to make it sound even better, you could add music in the background, your own music or somebody else's. So to do that, you click File, Import, then Audio, find some classical music or whatever, and then you can add that to the background. But you may want to make the volume of that track, the background music, very low. So to do that, after the track pops up, you're going to see on every track a little negative sign and a plus sign. This is under, it's going to say audio track, then it's going to say stereo, the amount of hertz, and then it's going to say 16-bit PCM, and it's going to say either mute or solo. And then under that is what I'm talking about. It's minus sign and a plus sign, and then none of that's the left sign and the right sign. But so if it's background music, you're going to want to slide that lever to the negative sign, so it's less dB. Alright, that's how you put background music in. Now to record correctly, this is what I do. I will read from the chapter, and I will say, for example, this paragraph. As you read from this oh man, I meant to say book. So what do I do? So I made a mistake. As you read from this As you read from this book, you will discover that it won't matter whether your parents are scholars, factory workers, or alcohol. Oh man, I messed up. Factory workers or alcoholics. The applications found here will help you understand the mind and its awesome, never-ending ability to work for you. Never-ending ability to work for you. Okay, so this is what I did. Every time I messed up, I took a space and said ... I did this because when I am editing it later, I can go back, look at the sound waves, and look for a 3 dot in the sound waves and a little space. And then I know that's a place that I need to edit. So usually, right after I mess up, I won't say, oh dang, or whatever. I'll just say ... and I'll start back up from the last spot that I had a good space. So it's usually after a period. So if you messed up in the middle of a sentence, you're going to want to restart that sentence at the beginning, because when you go back later to edit, you're going to make sure that you don't cut the middle of whatever you were saying out. So like if I was saying democracies, right after that word democracies is where I messed up. And I go to edit it and I cut it out, but then I take part of the S off of democracies, so it turns out to democracy, and then it goes, and then it's not what the book says, and that is a problem, because then you'll have to go back and do it all over again. So it's better to just start at the beginning of the sentence, and I use the ... because in Audacity you can see the wavelength, and if you make a marker, which is what I'm doing with my voice, it's a marker with my voice, ... 3 little dots, and I can see them on the wavelength, then I know where I messed up, and I can keep on reading despite messing up. I don't have to make it better each time I mess up. It gives me a lot of room for messing up, and it also takes a lot of time later to go through it, but it's actually a lot faster than doing it right then and there after you mess up, especially if it's a complicated book. Now, if there's words in your book that you do not know how to pronounce, go to howjsay.com. That's HOW, the letter J, SAY.com. And you type in your word there, and it pronounces it for you. If it's somebody's name that you do not know how to pronounce, usually you'll be able to find it somewhere on the internet. Like if it's Spinoza, or if it's someone's name from a foreign country like Ernst Bloch, then you're going to want to pronounce that right. Or Sri Saraswati Devi from India or Bangladesh, then you're going to want to ask somebody how to pronounce it so you get it right. And this is just making sure that your audiobook is professional and so it can have credibility. Okay, now another important thing to know is how to remove the noise that's in the background. Now usually if there's a door bang or somebody accidentally talks or the dog barks, you're going to actually want to stop your sentence, start back over from where there's a space in between words, a big enough space, and then you're going to want to start over or do the ... thing. But sometimes there's noise in the background that's like crickets or some sort of static, and that can be removed, and it's important to remove that because it sounds a lot better when you do. And you can increase the volume a lot higher without it being too annoying. So how you do this is you need to allow at least 3 seconds of just quietness. So for example, I'm going to stop talking right now and it's going to be quiet, and I'm going to show you the difference between the noise and then once I remove the noise. So here we go, quietness. Okay, did you hear the difference between noise and no noise? If not, listen again. Alright, yeah, so there's a difference. So to do this is you're going to want to make sure you have enough space of recording, nothing, which is only 3 seconds worth, to make a noise profile. So what I usually do is before I start recording, I just record the atmosphere in complete silence for about 4 or 5 seconds, and then I stop the recording and I save that track as the noise profile for this day. That way if it's at night and there's crickets, then when I record the next day and there's no crickets, it won't be a different noise profile. So I save it for the day, and then that way if I ever need that noise profile for editing, I just import audio and I bring that noise into my track and I can edit it. But anyway, so if you want to save just the atmosphere as a different track, then do that by doing what I told you before. Record absolutely nothing, export track, save it as either MP3 or WAV, and just put it as the date for that night or whatever. And okay, now in order to do this, in order to make it silent, what you're going to do is take that empty space. It only has to be 3 seconds, and you're going to want to click the little I button, which is right at the top of the magnifying glass, and it's just the cursor, and you're going to want to highlight that entire 3 seconds. You highlight it, and then you click the effect button, which is up at the top. In the effect button, it's going to go down and you're going to see an option, noise removal. You click that. Now remember, your 3 seconds of silence is already highlighted. You just click noise removal, and there's going to be an option that says get noise profile, but you're going to want to click OK because you're going to think, oh, I can just press OK now and it will all work. But no. First, you press get noise profile, and that takes the background noise from the highlighted 3 seconds, and it distinguishes that background noise from complete silence. So it will take out the background noise of your entire audio. So you click, like I said, so you click get noise profile. It's going to end the screen. You're going to get noise profile and then it's going to go off. Okay. So after you got noise profile, now you want to highlight all the area where you want the noise removed. So if it's the entire track, you highlight the entire track. If it's only part of the track you want the noise removed, then you only highlight part of the track. So after you highlight part of the track, you go back to Effect, you click Noise Removal again. This time you don't click Get Noise Profile. Instead, you just click OK because you have already gotten the noise profile. Once you click OK, whatever's highlighted when you click OK, the noise will be removed. So let me reiterate real quick. Highlight the 3 seconds of silence. Click Effect. Go to Noise Removal. Press Get Noise Profile. Then highlight everything that you want the noise removed from. Go back to Effect. Click Noise Removal. And then click OK. And then the noise will be removed. Okay. And that is essential for it to sound professional. Now, each time you record, because you can't record an entire book in one day, you're going to want to take notice to how far away the microphone is. You're going to want to take notice to if the microphone's getting any interference from like a TV, and you're going to want to like probably sit in the same spot because you want it to sound the same each time. You want to speak in the same spot of the microphone. You don't want the microphone to be above your head one time and then below your head another time because it's going to sound different. But if you actually record the exact specifications, like I'll say, okay, I have my microphone standing and the lamppost while I'm sitting on the brown couch, and the lamppost is sitting on my lap, and I have my volume microphone set to 88, not 100, and I'm only about 2 feet away from the microphone. Then you save that track before you start recording the entire book. And then if you ever forget what the specifications were to make it sound how it does, then you just listen to that again, that track, and you remember. And so you get it to sound the same. And that's how I do it. Now, that is pretty much going to give you a pretty good consistency of how you sound throughout it. But sometimes you want to sound better. And to do that, you're going to want to highlight your voice, all of it if you have to. Remember, you want this to be the same. And then you are going to go to bass and treble button after you click Effect and you've highlighted your voice. And then you're going to want to increase the bass of your voice around 5 points. And that will make your voice sound a lot more professional, like you're on the radio. I will give you an example now of my voice being increased with the bass, saying the same thing over and over. So I'm going to say, this is without the bass increase. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. This is with the bass increase. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And thus, it has a little more oomph to it when you increase the bass. Now, to finalize this recording, I'm going to tell you how to edit, stop, and go. So if you're recording and you just have to like take a pee real quick and you're going to start right back recording from where you left off, you just press the pause button and then you press the pause button again to recording. If you have to stop the track, then you press the stop button, which is the square, and you do whatever you have to do. If you're calling it a night, then you save the file, of course, but you do whatever you have to do, and then you make sure that you click your little cursor, which is the one that looks like an I, a capital I, above the magnifying glass, onto where you left off. Actually, a couple seconds from where you left off. Because when you click record again to start recording from where you left off, then it's going to start a new track. And so if you start recording from exactly where you left off, then it doesn't give you time to find your place and it sounds awkward. So I do it like maybe 2 seconds from where I left off and then click the little cursor and it's going to make a little line on the track and then press the record button and you start recording again. Now when you save the file, it's going to be fine. It's going to save all of it as one track. It's not going to save it as like multiple tracks. However, problems start occurring when you stop it, start it, stop it, start it, and you have like 15 different tracks on the screen at once. And then when you get to editing, you have to cut out an entire section of a track, and then it messes up the synchronization of all the other tracks because you made one track shorter, and then you have to rearrange everything. So to avoid that, each time you stop it, you can make your new track go right on up to your old track. You do this by, after you're done recording where you left off, you have 2 tracks, for instance. And now you want to add your second track so it's right up there with your first track. So what you do is you go up to your little buttons here, and it's not the capital I button, it's not the magnifying glass button, but it's the button with the 2 arrows horizontally, not vertically. And you click the time shift tool. Now let me remind you that you have stopped recording. You're done. Now you want to put the track you just recorded up with the one where you left off from recording. So you click the time shift tool, and now you go down to the track that you just finished recording, and you click it in the color that's gray, and you move the entire track up. So what this means is you click the left hand button while you have the time shift tool, which is the tool with 2 arrows to the right and left. You bring the arrow down to the gray, then you click the left button of your mouse, and then you click and drag, and you drag it right up to the top. The thing about it is though, is that you have to drag it so the beginning of the track that you're dragging meets up with the end of the track that you want it to meet up with. And then once you do that, there's going to be a little dark black arrow, which you're going to want to double click, and then the tracks are joined together. So that's it. And it's easier to edit that way. But after you drag that track up, there's going to be still a track box with nothing in it. You delete that box, and this way you avoid chaos of having 15 track boxes, and you avoid chaos of every time you stop it having to start it back up. So instead you record it, you have to stop it, so you stop it, then you start recording again, and you have to stop it again. But before you start recording a third time, you take the little time shift tool, take the recording that you just recorded, move it up to align with your first recording, then delete the track box, and then start recording again. Because this makes sure that you can edit everything all at once, and it makes it a lot easier, and it makes a lot less problems for the future. Finally, you're going to want to know how to delete things, like the ... things I said. So to do that, you just highlight the spot that you want to delete with the I tool, the capital I tool, the cursor thing. And once the section that you want to delete is highlighted, you just go up to the scissors. There's a little scissors button, and you click cut. Now if you want to make the track louder, you go down and you click that plus button, the one that I told you to click before, but you click the plus button. And that plus button is on the left hand side of your track box, the box that shows what you're recording when you're recording. But you can move the arrow towards the plus side and it will make it a lot louder, because sometimes you can't hear yourself speaking. You want to make sure people will be able to hear you enunciate, so you click that up, and that's the dB. Now finally, if there's some section in your recording that you just need to separate, so you want your little cursor button to move your track. One track stays where it is, the other track moves to the right. Okay, do you know what I'm saying? So if, say, somewhere in the middle of my recording, I wanted to separate the track. I want it separated so I can put something else in that space. Then what you're going to do is click the spot where you want it to be separated with the cursor button, and then you go up to the top, and this is after you press stop, of course, and you go to the button that says clip boundaries, and then you click the button that says split, not split new, only split, and then there's going to be a dark line where the cursor was, and pretty much you're split. But to separate it, you're going to want to go to that time shift tool, the double arrows one, which we had just used, and you're going to want to click the gray part of the track like you did before, and you're going to just move the track over to the right hand side, and that way you can add another recording. Say you like going back and you're looking, oh no, I didn't even say that word in the book, which as it was written, so I gotta add that word in there. So what do? I go to where the word isn't, I click the cursor, I go to edit, clip boundaries, split, I move part of the track over to the right, and then I go back to that space where there's a space now in my audio track, and I add the word in there by clicking record where that space is, and then there you go. I fixed it. I saved the day. And that concludes for the basic introduction of how to make your own audiobook. Thank you very much for listening. Stay tuned